I think the Surrealists were looking at sexuality, the way it's expressed in civilization, and in some cases turning it around a little bit, maybe even taking it further if they possibly could, partly as a critique and an examination of it, and partly because we do want to explore sexuality. And we don't want to say, oh, well, we're not going to deal with that because it might hurt women's feelings or men's feelings. So we just want to be able to be free and deal with it as we see, however it's going to be, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone.
Or frighten the horses and children.
Yeah, and so I really think that nothing that Surrealists has done has really limited the participation of women. The ones who went to the group that I saw participated very actively. But then it was the art museums and the art critics and also the people who bought paintings who filtered them out. They said, I'd rather have Max Ernst than Leonora Carrington, or, I'd rather have Magritte than Toyen, because Toyen was being very productive. And so I think that when you look at, in fact, one of the first leaflets we did was against the Rubin show organized in New York, because he didn't even represent women in his show. I mean, there might have been a couple of mentions of them in his text. But he had just totally filtered them out, even though they were there in the groups, their names were there, everything. So basically, for women, it's always an uphill struggle to be there, to do their work when they have super exploitation. They've still got kids, they've still got jobs, they've still got a lot of guilt they have to deal with. Be creative persons, then be recognized by each other and by men. And then they still have to struggle through an art establishment that wants to take the people who are willing to cooperate with the galleries and willing to cooperate with the museums and build those names up, leave everybody else out.
I mean, yeah, you have to struggle against it by producing more writing, I guess.
Yeah. But might have to publish it yourself, or if there's a Surrealist journal, publish it there. Women, and I do want to criticize them a little, sometimes are a little bit too shy, partly because they're afraid of being criticized. So they'll back off. I've often invited women to be part of our events, and they'll say, oh, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm not sure I want to do that. And it's just being self-critical, expecting criticism from other people that might be there and then again might not. So I really just do hope that women will take more initiative in their work and realize that to be a creative person is not necessarily an easy path. It's a difficult one.
Although in my ideal world, everybody is an artist and a poet. And everyone else gets filtered out.
Maybe in San Francisco, too. You've been living here a while. You haven't been living in Chicago.
It's a bubble.
Yeah.
I know. Cultural bubble. Well, then, more power to you for having been able to continue, the Surrealist quest.
This one is called Ice Palace. The boundaries of night balanced on soap bubbles, streaming with rainbow colors, and offering the alternative to nights and days. Dew characterizes the soul of the searching eye, lighting the hallway of ebony in its passage called time. Hanging upside down in trees like possums, singing soundless songs for sleepless dreamers. Awake to the blossoms of madness that weave carpets of serpents' tongues. I touch stones and they become black marble, I touch ice and it is magnetized.
I guess we've come to the end of the counterculture hour. For personal reasons, I'm extremely happy that we had an icon in my life over the past decades. Penelope Rosemont actually talked to me for the first time in person. And so thank you, Penelope.
Oh, well, it's been wonderful being here and meeting you, and this has been a great experience. And because I do feel close to the people that are interested in surrealism, it just makes me very happy to have been here.